Now, Mondale's campaign started off slowly, then it tapered off, and it began... Didn't want to do that. It began on Labor Day, the big Labor Day parade in New York City, scheduled at noon. Mondale's staff had him there at 8 o'clock in the morning, riding down Fifth Avenue on top of a street sweeper, waving at the winos. That was the beginning. The next day, he told the American Legion that if elected, he would visit the grave of whoever the Russian leader is at the time. Now, Mondale keeps getting these mixed bits of advice from his staff. Some of his people are telling him to take the low road in politics. That means to attack the president personally. And others say, no, don't do that. Take the high road. High road, low road. Let's face it, he's been stuck in the median strip. Well, I have obtained a copy of Mondale's briefing book with suggestion as to how he can attack the president personally. Low road. They want him to say things like, my fellow Americans, do we want to continue with a president whose grandchildren have to wear name tags when they go to visit him? Low road. Hardball. And I ask you to think twice before re-electing a man whose staff has to sneak no-dos into his jelly beans. Which brings us to the first debate, which was in Louisville. And the winner of that debate was the Democratic candidate and now former wimp, Walter Mondale. And if you remember that debate, you remember how they reverse roles. It shows you what happens when the candidates steal each other's briefing books. Mondale had the jokes. Reagan wound up with the boring statistics. I mean, he just didn't have a good night that night. As an actor, well, he was acting his age. The next debate was in Philadelphia between George Bush and Geraldine Ferraro. George Bush, let's face it, he was a little bit on the patronizing side, if you recall. Remember what he said to her? Awful. He said, let me help you, Mrs. Ferraro, with the difference between Iran and Lebanon. You know what he's really saying? You know what the translation to that was? Don't you worry your pretty little head about such things. And I believe I'll have some more of those nifty brownies. Well, when she said, Geraldine Ferraro said, quote, she said, I would not be standing here if Fritz Mondale did not have the courage. Translation, when the National Organization for Women lights a fire under a guy, he gets courage real fast. That's what. Now, the last debate last Sunday night in Kansas City showed us how high our standards really are. The debate was a draw. Why was it a draw? It was a draw because Mondale didn't whine and Reagan didn't stammer. It was that simple. We're going to take our Buffalo poll. This is unbiased, unrehearsed, probably uncalled for, but we're going to do it now. You ready? You all right? I name the candidate, you applaud. All right? Very quickly now. How many plan to vote for Walter Mondale? How many plan to vote for Ronald Reagan? Thanks a lot. We'll have to look at that tape. I'm not going to make it. Mondale picked up a few since last spring, right? Cheer up, Mondale fans. You can do it. Think positively. Let a smile be your umbrella. Put on a happy face. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-ay. Fritz can win it come election day. He needs a few breaks for the job that he seeks. Like another depression in less than 2 weeks. And he... 1, 2, 3. 4, 1, 2, 3, and he could use a war by Tuesday. But for defeat, he's heading unless there's total Armageddon. Mondale's not finished, he can still pull ahead. With the blessing of Falwell and rejection from Ted, he looked good in Kansas City. But his hopes were cooling when he saw that Reagan wasn't drooling. Fritz will win next time, so go bet the rent when he's Jerry Ferraro's vice president. Boom! Now, as some of you know, I make my home in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia. And as you saw last election night, we're in touch with Minnesota. Now, you remember the election night, I was watching the thing on television, and they had this big electronic map of the United States. And you remember the Reagan states were in red, and the Mondale states were in blue. And as the returns start coming in, off in one corner of the map was this forlorn, flickering little blue light. They had to make it go on and off so you could see it for the District of Columbia. This is going on and off saying, Mayday, Mayday. Well, that inspired me to write a song about Washington, D.C. We don't have a song. See, a lot of cities shuffle off to Buffalo, obviously, New York, New York. I left my heart in Walla Walla. And so here we have a song since the election for Washington. Oh, District of Columbia, we pulled out every stop and led the way election day. Put Fritz over the top. The nation looked to Washington as it has looked before for guidance and example. That's what Washington is for. Have some wine and cheese while we talk about détente, New Deals and great societies. Yes, we know what you want. Oh, District of Columbia, influencing the land, bellwether of the nation. We are Guam without the sand.
The Mark Russell Comedy Special was produced by WNED Buffalo, which is solely responsible for its content. Funding for this program was made possible in part by a grant from the Kermit and Mickey Schaefer Foundation. The foundation honors the memory of Kermit Schaefer, creator of radio and TV bloopers, and serves as a testimonial to his appreciation of comedy on public television. Additional funding is provided by this and other public television stations. For an audio cassette of tonight's program, send a check or money order for $7 to Mark Russell Campaign 84, Post Office Box 4000, Buffalo, New York 14240. Please do not send cash. Allow 6 weeks for delivery.